Welcome to the Pinkpill RX podcast, hosted by Katie and Jay Fillmore, where we navigate complex and thought-provoking topics surrounding women with a focus on education. For shorter form content, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube at Caters88 or Pinkpill RX.
That's KATORS88.
If you enjoy this podcast, please give us a follow and maybe a nice review.
Welcome back to another mini episode.
Welcome.
This is just going to be short little snippets, mostly going to be my tidbits.
I love those. This is my favorite type of episode to do.
Because it's so rapid fire.
Yeah, and I think my ADHD this time of night, I'm not medicated, and it's just boom, 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 boom.
If housework was just about eating, sleeping, and relaxing, men would never grant that privilege to women.
Wait, what? Say it again.
Do you know, like, the premise, women's work, especially in the home, is very much like downplayed, and men will come home from work and kind of be like, well, what'd you do all day?
Yeah. Yes.
As if it is like a vacation.
Yes.
From working.
Sure.
Right? So this idea is, if housework was just about eating, sleeping, and relaxing, like if that's really what it was.
Thank you.
Men would never grant that privilege to women.
We would take it ourselves.
When I Googled this quote, because I wasn't certain if it was original to the user, it did say that it might be attributed to Mitch Albom. So not really certain who the originator of this quote was. Thought that was interesting.
Yeah, you know what? It is pretty bogus to be like, what did you do all day? Oh, we just got to hang out at home?
Right. It's like minimizes just like
a lot of crap has to be done at home.
Cooking, cleaning, caregiving, and keeping a house running. Even though it includes not just the physical labor, but it includes the planning and the coordinating and anticipating needs, managing everybody's comfort.
Yeah, would you think that running a hotel, simultaneously running a restaurant, and simultaneously running like a daycare or a small school, that's just a walk in the park? That's basically what you're doing, right?
Right.
If you do the housework, I mean, if you do all of it, I mean, that's what you're doing.
Right. And if you divide out the labor and you hire a housekeeper and you hire a chef and you hire a driver and you hire all these things, you're looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars.
You know what?
Childcare, 24/7 childcare.
What you told me I should do like a year ago, and I've done intermittently, is that when I'm doing work on a property, I will estimate how much that work would cost if I hired somebody else to do it. So let's say I do like a $500 day worth of plumbing, for an example. I would say, hey, I made $500 today because I saved us $500 today. So that's how I equate what my labor's worth. So it'd be interesting as a thought experiment to say, well, I did all the grocery shopping today and I did the meal planning today. I washed laundry, or I folded laundry, or I washed kids' sheets and remade their beds or whatever. And then I tutored little Jimmy with math, and, you know, I did X, Y, and Z. If you were to pay somebody else to do each of those things, how much would it cost you? That's what I contributed to our family's bottom line today.
Money saved is money made.
Yeah. And it'd be interesting. Okay. And then let's say there's a corresponding male partner. Let's say you make things easy. Let's say you have a salaried position. So how much did you make today in your salaried position? You know, how are we stacking up against each other? Are you really valuing the work I do with how much monetary value it actually has?
Right. And I don't think the power is in comparison for bringing the other person down in that comparison. I think the power in the comparison is to lift the woman up, not to like bring the man down and saying like what you're contributing isn't significant in comparison to what I'm contributing. But like, are you seeing what I'm contributing at the value that you should be seeing it? Because look, this is what you make hourly. This is what I contribute hourly. We just don't see that as income. That's money saved.
Yeah. It's highlighting the work that may be overlooked. And it's totally not to take away from his contribution, but if hers is being overlooked, it's a way to discuss it.
Well, and then you add in working women who also do all this stuff.
Oh, yeah, right.
talk about high earners.
Yeah.
I wonder if part of the devaluing of women's work is because we treat this as natural female care. Like it comes naturally to women, right? Versus looking at it as labor. Because if we look at it as labor and acknowledge it as labor, it would raise questions about compensation, power, and like who benefits from women's exhaustion. You know?
Who benefits from women's exhaustion? Jeez.
Yeah, it would raise like a lot of questions if we actually valued it as labor. There's a reason why we classify it as something different.
Yeah.
I feel like.
So then why, interesting follow-up, so then why is the labor of a man not considered natural? Isn't that what, like, I don't know, isn't that what, like, guys more on the, like on the red pill side would say, yeah, we're meant to, like, lead and create and work and provide and da-da-da.
Yeah.
Isn't that natural?
That's true, that men are expected to be compensated for their natural tendencies. But women, it has historically been used to not compensate women when saying that comes natural to them. Like, for example,
Yeah,
with
it's
teaching,
weird.
for teaching professions, it was a care profession. And so therefore it came more naturally to women. And because it came more naturally to women, it wasn't as hard for women to do it. And because it wasn't as hard for women to do it, we didn't have to compensate women at the same level as we did for men, because maybe men had to work harder because this was a care profession.
Sure. Yeah. So then why, and yeah, it's just, it's inconsistent argumentation, because if men make the argument that the work they're doing is more naturally suited for them, then why is your compensation more important if you're doing natural work and women are doing natural work?
Yeah, it is a double standard.
That's weird.
It's a double standard, yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
Okay, the next one. This is from LaFawn_duh on TikTok. Women who hate men hate what men have done to them. Men who hate women hate what women haven't done for them.
So what, wow. I mean, that is a dense and true statement. Holy crap. So with the male perspective illustrated here, there is there is a vibe of entitlement. What you haven't done for me that you ought to have done or be doing for me. But then on women's side, that entitlement is not there. You're just asking for respect and equal treatment and lack of violence.
Yeah, the anger is often rooted in harm, inequality, violence, control.
So in that argument, then, like, men are saying, hold on one second.
Yeah, it's like men are victimized by women's independence, their boundaries, sexuality, their lack of access is viewed as personal deprivation owed to men.
Yeah, it's so entitled. I just can't get over that. Like, for those men who think that way,
right?
It is very entitled. Like, why do you think that women, even women you don't know, owe you something? Oh, it's obvious. Well, I think obviously comes from because you believe that, like, ontologically you are superior. Therefore, you owe me because I am naturally above you. You are naturally subservient. Therefore, you owe me, and I'm entitled to this, and you're not giving it to me.
Possibly.
That's the vibe I pick up from that. That's wild. What the heck, dude? Like, what is wrong with you guys? If not, I'm not saying all guys, but guys would think that way.
Right.
What is wrong with you? And part of me is thinking, psychologically and sociologically, what happened to you as a kid?
Do you think, though, if you were to go through your life, I'm just curious.
Oh, do it.
And you could not find a woman who was interested in you, a woman who wanted to date you, that you were alone and it felt like, whatever you did, it didn't matter.
I think that there's a crossroads there that I could either become embittered towards all women, which the way you explain it, I can understand. I can understand where those feelings are coming from. Feelings, not attitudes or actions, but feelings, sure. Or I could really turn it inward and just be so self-depreciating. What's wrong with me?
Mm.
And I think it can go one of those two routes. I lean towards that second route. I mean, I do in other areas too. I could see myself going down that route more likely.
This is from Sweetwater Wellness Center on TikTok. Women have always had equal rights. Meanwhile, when anesthesia was first invented, doctors weren't allowed to give it to women in labor because the church declared that the pain of childbirth was God's punishment. Now, that is a little bit of an overstatement, but the spirit of it is true. Anesthesia during labor became a real moral issue. And in fact, midwives, there was a very specific midwife, and I forget her name, but she was burned at the stake for the accusations was for providing pain relief to a woman during childbirth. Because it is God's ordained punishment for women.
Dude, this is why we have a separation of church and state, because you can have just misguided, misinterpreted beliefs than making policy that affect real people. That's unbelievable.
Well, isn't it also just unbelievable that it was historically moralized as deserved punishment? That you deserve that.
The question arises, okay, so was the same view done for men in their work?
Well, I know that's what I'm thinking. You
don't get it. You shouldn't be taking freaking vacation. You are supposed to work.
No, that's not even what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of we shouldn't have anything to make your work easier.
Yeah, totally.
We should not have anything to make your work easier. Technology shouldn't exist.
Get AC out of your
Industrial
office.
Revolution, forget that.
Yeah.
We are toiling the land.
Yeah. Why do you have minimum wage? You should just be working because that's what you're supposed to do. That's your curse.
Right. So the double standard there is astounding.
Yeah, that's awful. And in hindsight, very obvious.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So it wasn't illegal per se, but it was very
hard to get approval for?
Hard, yes. Yeah. Hard to get doctors to do it because there was this moral objection because it was so, the church was so intertwined.
Such bad theology. It's pitiful. It's such bad theology. Oh my God. And
these arguments lasted into the 20th century.
Oh, yeah.
In 1853, Queen Victoria received, and it was chloroform. Queen Victoria received chloroform during birth, which helped make it more mainstream and acceptable. But even into the 20th century, there was arguments that labor pain was divinely ordained or morally necessary. Because when twilight sleep came out, which is a whole other conversation, we've talked about birth, we've talked about anesthesia and birth before, but when twilight sleep came out, that conversation also was being had about the morality behind relieving women from the pain of childbirth.
Right, if that's even what the Hebrew is talking about, but
Yeah.
And then, but I don't know why I immediately think of Jesus and the woman with the issue of blood.
Mm-hmm.
In the compassion that he had for her and seeing of the whole person. But then you have other people who claim to be his followers that say, no, you should not be allowed anesthesia or something to block pain when you're giving birth to a child. Because of this archaic interpretation, or maybe like this, I don't know, not this ancient quote unquote consequence that, you know, one of the many things Jesus came to solve the problem of, according to the scriptures. So like, just what are you doing?
Shouldn't that woman who was bleeding continuously not have been around other people?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Aren't they supposed to be set away?
Yeah, anything she touches is unclean.
Yes, she's not even supposed to be there. And it's interesting that Jesus encounters women frequently in spaces they are not supposed to be.
Oh, I'm thinking Mary and Martha. I'm thinking
Mary and Martha,
Mary.
The woman at the well.
Yeah. Oh shoot.
The bleeding woman. It's women who are not supposed to be where they're not where they're supposed to be culturally speaking.
Right. Oh, I'm even thinking of this is I have not found definitive proof of this. Maybe there is, and I just haven't found it yet. But the fact that it's very possible that Mary Magdalene bankrolled Jesus' earthly ministry. There were like wealthy women involved with bankrolling his ministry. And that's not where women, quote unquote, belonged.
Yeah, where's she supposed to be?
I mean, I don't know. The fact that the ones who were entrusted to at first to bring the gospel message of the resurrection were women. The fact that the first person to read or speak or teach about the book of Romans was woman.
Yep. Women where they're not supposed to be. Interesting. Okay, so the next one. This was posted on a TikTok. However, I do think I found the original author, Tia Levings or Leavings. She wrote A Well-Trained Wife, My Escape from Christian Patriarchy. And it says, isn't it funny how we were taught to be afraid of witches, but not the men burning them?
Jeez, these are bangers.
It's interesting that the witches were made into the threat, while the male religious, legal, and political institutions that investigated, tortured, executed, accused women were normalized as protectors of the moral order. They wiped out generations of women's knowledge and reproduction, herbs, healing, birth, and wealth. I mean, they burned women who owned property.
You know, I just learned more about this past week, like the Salem witch trials, and I learned that it only ended when it was like wealthier men that started being accused of stuff. Those who were in power eventually started getting accused of stuff, and that's when basically they shut the whole thing down.
Oh well, when it starts to affect a man, that's actually a title of one of the podcasts I'm working on right now. Things change when it starts to affect a man.
There was obvious land grabbing, like people who wanted somebody else's land. All of a sudden, the other person's accused of being a witch, and then boom, you go and you get the land. I hope for those of you listening, something was intriguing or sparked a curiosity, or you felt affirmed or challenged. Stay educated. Take the pink pill. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give us a follow and maybe a nice review.